You're listening to the Heroes Power Hour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your host, Balrog Fan BP, and co-host, Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the most recent episode of the Heroes Power Hour, your weekly dose of Heroes news and excitement and all that in between. I am starting off tonight. Charlie's feeling a little under the weather. He's right above me. Balrog Fan BP. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Just battling this stomach thing, but I'm doing okay. So much happened. I can't even keep up. I feel like they just flipped the switch and put everything in high gear, so.
Yeah, definitely. We're actually going to quickly get into that, but to my left, physical left, digital right, Zexorus, the Chen Master himself.
What's up, guys? I'm Mr. Meeksies. Look at me.
So yeah, if you're not familiar, we actually did finally get Zexorus to watch all of Rick and Morty, so expect some silliness.
How I feel about this stupid show.
Alrighty, so why don't we get started? I mean, it's a good time to get started. A lot's happening this week. How was everyone's weeks in games? I played a lot of Diablo, but I also played some heroes. Did you guys get any heroes in, Charlie?
Yeah, I had the unfortunate experience of working on a lot of Smurfs, so I don't enjoy it, but I do want that vulture mount. So I think I'm on my third Smurf and at level 7 right now. Slowly but surely. I mean, it's interesting to see how the game was at the lower levels, but it doesn't feel fun in either way.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Where I'm at. But, yeah, I mean, I got to play some Rainer and play some Val. I kind of took a departure from heroes I generally play, and just to round out my game a little bit, and that's been kind of fun, learning stuff. I don't know that I'm actually learning anything. I feel like I can play really sloppy and just hurt people, and it's not fair.
All right, Zex, how about you this week?
Yeah, I've been actually helping Charlie out over there with the smurfing, and it's more funny to me because I'm just being proven right all the time about why you shouldn't smurf, because no, you're not learning anything. It's terrible to do this to new players. But I have been learning characters in the meantime, like Zagara. I know how to play Zagara now. I never touched her before I started smurfing. And now I finally learned how to play Sylvanas, and she's disgusting. If you're heavily aggressive with her, she's absolutely as disgusting if people don't know how to defend against that. And for some reason, I kept calling Charlie Jimmy the whole time.
Oh, it happens.
There were several moments where he started yelling, "I'm not Jimmy!
I'm not Jimmy!"
But, Smurf, again, I'm going to say it again. Smurfing is a terrible idea. Don't do it. Unless you're going for that vulture mount. You're not going to learn anything. I have decided I'm going to run an experiment with one of the Smurfs just to see the difference in where I do hero placement matches after I finish those up. Mm-hmm. I want to see what rank I start at.
Yeah, that actually would be kind of an interesting experiment to have that out. I mean, I remember when we did our Smurfs, and it kind of gave me a false sense of hope that I'm actually good at Butcher.
Yep.
But yeah,
it'll do that.
You were just teaming with someone who knew how to stun first.
Exactly. But yeah, let's just go into this week's news. I mean, there's so much to dig through. Last week we were speculating about the new heroes. The next day came, and I think they announced them the next day. And a couple of our friends over at Stormcast actually got a interview with Dustin Browder that day. And so they were able to get some questions answered on them. If you haven't had a chance to go check that out, Stormcast Show, Google it, Mick and Notch over there. They do a really great job on that show, and they've had myself and I think Charlie at least on there on the show before.
Yeah, I was on for the Zagir episode. They also did an interview together with the developers.
Oh, nice. But yeah, so the two new heroes that have been announced are Li-Ming, the wizard from Diablo 2, and Zul, who is the necromancer from Diablo 2. So Diablo 2 finally getting some love in Heroes of the Storm. What do you guys think of these heroes? I mean, just in a broad sense, I know we're gonna really dig into Li-Ming because she's on the PTR now, but let's just talk about this in a broad sense for right now.
Well, I'm surprised how correct you guys were. I mean, a week ago we didn't know. Like you said, it was all speculation. Wednesday hits, all of a sudden we have, oh yeah, balance changes. We're going to do them a lot more now, and they're coming every Wednesday. And oh yeah, here are these two heroes. And I mean, I know Zexus just kind of said, oh yeah, it might be a necromancer. And Jimmy, you were pretty sure from the jump that it was going to be the wizard. So kudos to both of you, because I honestly did not think that these were the type of heroes we would get like right now.
Yeah,
I assumed stuff like this would be down the road after more named characters came, after more like variety of characters came, And I welcome it for sure. I mean, I'm glad to see them both in the game because they both sound and look very fun.
Yeah, I mean, and Li-Ming, from what I've seen and talking with Zexus about, really personifies her Diablo 3 character into Heroes of the Storm, and she translates really well. Maybe a little too well, but we will talk about that a little bit. Also, we got a preview video for some skins and mounts, and there's a lot of skins and mounts I really, really want now.
Yeah, almost all of those look great.
Yeah. And also today came out, we'll just quickly touch on this, the Space Lord Leoric did come out with a mount, and that looks just insane. I'll probably wait for it to go on sale just because I don't play Leoric very much, so I'll sit tight even though it's a great skin.
Yeah, he looks amazing from what I saw earlier. I didn't know he actually dropped today, though. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, anything you wanted to talk about with the Necromancer? I mean, we're going to just go into Li-Ming in detail in a little bit here, but I mean, the Necromancer is going to be a specialist, a melee specialist, I believe. No,
yes.
range, or yeah, okay.
Melee specialist.
Okay, yeah. And
they have some of it on Heroes Nexus. This stuff is all subject to change, obviously, but they do have like his QWEs and traits and his heroic and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, obviously he's a necromancer, so his trait is he'll be raising skeletons from fallen minions. You can have 4 that last 15 seconds. The note here says they're good at wearing down towers and minions and blocking skill shots, skill shots seem like. Blocking skill shot seems like it's going to be an important thing moving forward, so he'll probably be a welcome addition when he does hit. Spectral Scythe is his Q. It's a burst skill shot, creates a scythe at a distance that comes back towards you. You can boomerang it, so it's much like Falstad's Hammering, I would imagine, except maybe a little bit of... Whoa. Mute button, buddy.
You okay there?
yeah, I muted it for the stream, sorry. Not for you guys.
Okay. My mistake. And it's a scythe that it's going to probably have a bigger birth radius than Falstad's Hammer. The W is the Curse Strike. Turns a basic attack into an AoE attack for a few seconds and curses the target, which reduces their attack speed by 50%. Now that's going to be really, really big. He's going to be kind of a counter player for... I mean, think about how often you take Imposing Presence just to deal with what a ranged assassin can do. Someone like Raynor, you take that to slow these people down. If you have this from the jump and you can turn your basic attacks into an AoE attack that applies this 50% debuff, that's huge. His E is going to be Bone Prison, and that's a targeted ability, not skill shot, that after 2 seconds roots them in place for 2 seconds. So... it sounds probably like a smaller radius Malfurion rampant growth thing. And he's got 2 heroics, the Poison Nova, which is an AoE attack that does damage and spreads stats on all targets. Pretty much expect it, I think. I figured we would see the Poison Nova. Glad to see that it's here. It's pretty much a Necromancer staple. And his heroic to skeleton mages creates a wall of mages at a distance, can divide a team in half, slows all targets hit by their attacks. So it's like a jerky Tassadar wall. I'm sure it won't have a 10-second cooldown or whatever Tassadar's cooldown is, but a damaging wall is always welcome, especially something that slows and can divide teams. And the last thing is he has a default bonus ability, which is bonus armor, and that gives Zool a shield for 25% of his health for 3 seconds. Now, I'm guessing that just means he has two traits. He has a trait he can activate with D, and a passive trait that just is always in effect with Ray's Skeleton. Again, all this is subject to change, but it's all very encouraging to me. I love what I see here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him. I definitely kind of lean towards Specialist, obviously from playing Lost Vikings, so it sounds like something fun in the pipeline for our heroes here. But let's quickly move on to... Wait, hold on. Willie, did you have something to say about our Necro?
I'm reserving judgment on Necro until I get my dirty little
paws. Speaking of dirty little paws, PTR went up a few hours ago, so a couple of us have had, or at least Zexorus has had some time to play on PTR. And guess who's available on that PTR? Li-Ming is there, the wizard from Diablo 3, so... people are able to play test her out, and Zax, I think you have a couple thoughts on Li-Ming so far.
She's so broken. Like she's legitimately not fair. Like if she has a setup of any kind, she will wipe an entire team by herself. Like an example, I was doing the PTR and I was doing an Arcane Orb build with her, like Essa Jordan at 4, and then the range extensions you can take at 7 and 13 or 16, I think, and we were trying to get away, but our ETC just happened to just slide back into him, and he got a mosh on 4, which is great, and I was like, well, I'm right here, I'm max range, I better start throwing out stuff to see if I can't reduce the numbers. Killed one, all the skills went off cooldown. Threw out the disintegration, that finished, and like it wiped everybody. Like they all died.
Yeah. So
within the span of that mosh pit, everyone died.
Yeah. So for those not aware, critical mass is her trait, and every time she's around for a kill, her all her spells come off cooldown, and all her spells are really low cooldown to begin with, but I mean, once you start chaining stuff together like that, it sounds insane. I haven't had a chance to play, but Zex is...
It's not fair.
What are her mana cost and her squishiness like? I mean...
Yeah, that was my first question to Zex was... What's her mana like? Like, it seems like she just lose it.
Pool. I didn't really have that much. I think both games I got in with her, I had to back for mana twice throughout the whole game. Like because her level 1, she gets one of the skill I've been taking is like Power Hungry, which you get double the amount of mana back on regen globes.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
And you get a 10% damage buff, ability damage buff to your skills. And
now
it's so...
Is she going to fall in the range of Kelthus, like, where her damage is absurd, but if you focus her out... I assume she's as squishy as Kelthus, at least, if not squishier.
She is
without Arcane Barrier.
Right, she is as squishy as Kelthus, but where she lacks in the health, she makes up for in that teleport. Like if you position her right, you can put yourself in you can teleport yourself over a wall and be safe, and get the hell out. But like she does so much damage, and the range of Arcane Orb is so insane. Like you're out, like I'm throwing Arcane Orbs from so far away. I'm not getting health globes when my lane partner picks it up. Like she's got Asmo dunk distance.
That's sounds pretty good. Do you think Nova's going to be the hard counter for her then, and Zeratul and stuff like that? People who
That
can really sneak up on her, or maybe even the rise of Stitches with his hooks.
I don't know. The changes to Nova are kind of weird. Like some of them seem really strong. Like her new level 7 talent where you get in the PTR currently where you get 5% damage to your snipe every time you hit something. There's a downside to taking that talent. And is if you miss your snipe, you lose all your stacks. So you have to
Okay.
hit every single snipe, or you start from scratch. But I don't, I don't know how Nova's going to play out. Like I think on a pro scene, she'll probably see a lot of play, or she'll see more play at least.
It
On a
doesn't. It
on a
feels like she's going to be a lot more patient. Just glancing at what I saw, like you're not going to be popping out and just firing off blast like indiscriminately and trying to pop in and out. You're going to be really waiting for your spot to come in, do your damage, and get away, which is what the better Nova players do. Honestly, it's the same way the better Zeratul players play. You don't see them a lot, but when you do see them, you're probably dead.
yeah. She yeah, you're gonna want to wait for that setup shot, stun or something like that, so you know you're gonna hit that snipe. But like when you do hit that snipe, you're gonna benefit from that extra damage. And I don't know how I feel about her new level 20 talent where she becomes literally undetectable for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's called Ghost Protocol. I have it up right now. So you activate to gain stealth. You do not lose stealth from taking damage, attacking, or using abilities for 2 seconds. So you have 2 seconds of permanent cloak there.
And that's
Yeah,
on a
isn't it?
60-second cooldown.
Yeah, correct.
It's not too
And
bad.
that's like I don't know how to feel about that because like I'm gonna just call it how I see it. The scrub mentality is like, oh my god, take it and you can triple tap, but you're getting rid of fast reload. And why are you taking triple tap anyways?
Yeah, I mean the way I look at it is you can use it to activate stealth for a getaway that
Yeah,
will not go away. Like you get your stealth and then you position yourself away, and then her stealth activates every 3 or 4 seconds, if I remember correctly. So I mean, it basically buys you time to get stealth, and yes, it'd be nice to come out with a snipe and not immediately be revealed against the enemies. You get a chance to reposition yourself after getting close to ensure that you hit that snipe with Snipe Master and whatnot. So there's going to be uses, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound broke or anything.
And for what it's worth, it's replacing Bolt of the Storm. So, I mean, it's a different way of accomplishing the same thing to a degree. Although Bolt of the Storm obviously guarantees you get a further distance away, this just makes it harder for them to burst you down if you use it defensively.
well, and it makes you untargetable for 2 seconds essentially. Like they have to hit AOE round skills to, or they have to hit the ground skills in order to reveal, like just damage you. It's not even going to be revealing you.
Now, there's something I don't understand about these patch notes here for the PTR. Jaina is listed, but nothing's listed. Like
She
she's-
doesn't have any changes. She's perfect
Okay,
the
she
way
was
she
just
is.
she was just thrown in. Because from what you're telling me about Li-Ming, I mean, I'm just trying to think of weaknesses here because it sounds like she's really strong, but obviously there's got to be some vulnerabilities. And what I see is that her teleport is a very short distance, like shorter than Vala's vault. So maybe throwing out those like slows on her and stuff, and just blowing her up is going to be her weakness. So someone like Jaina might do well against her.
But then again, it comes back to the argument of the skill cap is your positioning. Like
Right.
if you know they're trying to dive you, you're gonna put yourself up in a corner that you can teleport over, hit your mount and get out. So you're going to it makes you realize your how important your positioning is, and plus her arcane, and that's almost beneficial to be over a wall because you can. It's much likely harder wow, words. It's much harder to catch someone out over a wall when they're chucking giant, 1.1k damage orbs at your face. Because that's how
Right.
much damage, like with both the damage upgrades to Arcane Orb and the range damage, it'll do 1.1k damage. I've watched the damage numbers. It's ridiculous.
All right. I'm hesitant to go too crazy over PTR, but it sounds
Yeah,
like she's
same.
good. I mean, I don't know. Those heroes always scare me though. Like Lunara sounded really good too, and then she wasn't like for a while. So I'm curious how much of it will translate upon her.
She is a sieger and she is a DPS, and it's ridiculous. Like, you could take Archon at 20 and basically be a better hammer. Like, because the channeling on Disintegrate doesn't go away with Archon. You are just sitting there just firing that beam. And if you've got enough protection in front of you, you're going to shred everything. And it's a 10-second cooldown on that talent at 20. But see, I like to stack all the damage buffs, so I'll take Tal Rash's elements because you should be throwing out all of her spells anyways. And that's an additional 20%, ability damage buff. She does. The first game I played with her, I led in hero and siege damage by a wide margin, and I was not sure I was playing her right. Like I was like 50k siege ahead of everybody else, and I think 15k hero damage ahead of the next person. It was just truly disgusting the amount of damage she can put out. Like, I legitimately think right now they're probably going to change her, but the way she is right now is not fair.
Well, okay. That's pretty big statement. I mean, do you feel like that all these changes to all, like, these giant amount of changes are to kind of deal with her arrival? I mean, Rhaegar getting such a big overhaul is kind of fishy to me when I look at her and I think slows are her weakness. So a healer who provides, like, arguably the best slow in the game is suddenly getting a bunch of buffs. Do you think someone like that, they're doing stuff like that to kind of counter her arrival, since she's going to be in most games you play for at least a week, and you kind of want to temper that attitude that, oh yeah, she's broke, Blizzard doesn't know what they're doing, they just release these broke champions that are either too good or too bad, blah blah blah.
It's entirely possible, but like, and Rhaegar got some really good buffs. Like, he's pretty strong now. He may see. I'm thinking he's going to see competitive play once these changes go live. But again, it comes back to positioning is key. Like, if you're out of position, Rhaegar's got to get close to you to drop that totem, and
True.
then he's got to get through a whole hell of a lot of spam to get close to you to drop the totem. But if he gets in, yeah, I can see her getting tossed around pretty hard.
Comes in behind you,
Yeah,
because he moves quick and he moves in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It seems like there's a lot of, like, changes too to the lesser taken ultimates, like just flat out crazy scaling increases. Like, I look at blunt force gun. It's going from 800 base 380 per level to 900 base 515 per level. Like, and that's the kind of skill that doesn't see play because that little positioning napalm strike is so widely spammable. But if someone like Li-Ming is going to be running around all of a sudden, you might want some giant bullet to just shoot her no matter where she's standing, to finish her off, get someone running away. I mean, they're changing. It seems like they're heavily changing the buff to Bloodlust, and
Yeah, that change to Bloodlust is definitely going to bring Bloodlust back into the mix here. Each ally affected by Bloodlust now heals for 30% of their basic attack damage dealt to their primary target.
yeah. Shadow Assault on Zeratul is going from 100-second cooldown to 45 seconds. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're
Yeah.
gonna cast and then some now.
Range increase, mana cost reduced as well, but the duration was reduced by 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's talk about everybody's favorite ogre.
Cho'Gall. Yeah.
I don't even understand these changes yet.
Like, they buffed the hell out of Twisting Nether. It is literally almost 400. I suck at math. It's like 400 some plus damage now.
Yeah, damage increased from 342 plus 4% per level to 415 plus 5% per level, and the slow amount is increased from 40 to 50% now. So I mean, this is going to scale ridiculously well.
Yeah, it's like they really want people to. They really, really, really want people to play Cho'Gall.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these changes we're looking at, and I'm gonna link it to chat, and there it is. And we should probably put that in we get it up on the YouTube. Let's go ahead and put that link in there too,
Yeah, we
so
will.
people can check it out. But like these are like I don't even know. I'm out of words. Like
Yeah, that change to his level 20 psychotic break is just so huge. Where it's just a flat increase on your ability damage by 5%. It was already big.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
easy to do big numbers with Gall.
yeah.
I mean, there's heavy changes to Greymane here. Lily, it looks like they're making it so you can no longer target her Cloud Serpent, and it can also be on two. Like people can have 2 Cloud Serpents at once now. I mean, that seems silly to me. They're just taking off targeting with her abilities completely.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's how I'm reading it.
Yeah, I guess the ones you got.
The double cloud serpent idea does seem kind of weird.
Yeah, because her once her fast feed is triggering, and if you take Kung Fu Hustle at 20, Cloud Serpent can just be coming off very quickly, and it'll be out quicker than 8 seconds. So you can possibly, I mean, from the way it's worded, it looks like you can double Cloud Serpent people, which would add some interesting dynamic to that Cloud Serpent build. Skeletal Swing. Oh no, that's just a rewording. They left non in. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Blizzard patch notes versus the Heroes Nexus one. I think the Heroes Nexus has a little more stuff that's not in the Blizzard official patch notes. But really quickly, I wanted to talk about the kind of overreaching, just general changes. This one's just kind of a nice quality of life change. Block charges are now tracked in the buff bar next to your hero portrait, and a timer has been added to show the time remaining until a new charge is generated. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of when you can kind of be a little bit more aggressive. And then this is I feel like a big change. Focused attack, basic attack damage bonus reduced from 75% to 60% now.
Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty big because I mean, lately pretty much anyone who has access to focus attack is taking it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's a lot of changes to the maps.
Yeah, Arcane Punisher, the Arcane Sentry is getting its damage reduced by 20%. And that's arguably been always the most difficult Punisher to deal with because of the sentries. So it's nice that it's getting a little bit of a change.
How about them tower buffs though?
Yeah. Towers, forts, and keeps now deal 50% bonus damage to heroes. Diving is going to be a little bit more scary now, especially early game.
Yeah, with the scaling changes, it seemed like it was easier to get away with a lot more shenanigans around the towers, so I'm glad to see that, because you shouldn't be able to put so much pressure on the towers early, especially with ammo involved, because it's bad enough that you can kind of spam stuff to force out the towers. It feels like they should do a lot more damage when that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Knight's getting a 10% increase on his damage to structures. The channel time on his Savage Charge is going to be down, so going to be punting a lot more people around Dragon Shire.
Yeah, definitely.
The Towers of Doom, the ownership of nearby bell towers no longer determine which lane the Sapper minions will travel down. The 2 southern Sapper camps will now always travel the bottom lane, so that's kind of interesting. I feel like that makes it worse, but who knows? I mean, it's one of those things I'd have to see in action.
I think it just means you just have more control over knowing where they're going to go. Because I feel like I would never... I wouldn't be sure on where they were going to be going when I captured them. So, I mean, this would probably put a little bit more of a focus on that bottom lane. Because if you're able to control that bottom lane and get 2 waves of those sappers through... I mean, if you already have their fort and you're able to get 2 waves through, that's 6 shots on the core.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's random bug fixes. Murden's Dwarf Toss will no longer allow him to become stuck inside gates. So I wonder if that'll fix Chen's stuck in gates thing that you encountered, Willie.
Probably not, because they still hate Chen.
It says his abilities that prevented him from traveling through the intended target using flying kicks, so maybe that's kind of tied into that.
Yeah. That's what they were talking about, then.
Yeah. Murky's egg will no longer be briefly displayed on the mini-map if he's killed by Nova's pinning shot. I really wish I knew that happened. I love punishing Murky, and if I had known that I can use an ability to briefly reveal his egg every time he's dead, that would... I guess we still got time to do that, so...
Let's
if
go.
You see him Murky, kill him with pinning shot.
Yeah.
The Jaina's Ring of Frost now properly affects enemies that overlap the inner edges of the ability's targeting ring. I always felt like that was off on Jaina. Like, Ring of Frost always felt like it was weird the way that it hit people and how it activated, so that kind of ties into what I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm glad they're fixing that. Hopefully they'll see a little bit more play now because of that.
Lethal damage no longer improperly triggers the cooldown of Tacitar's Prescience talent. That's where it automatically triggers his void form or whatever, his little escape tool. So that's pretty helpful. I mean, there's a lot here. I feel like we could spend the next half hour easy talking about all this.
Oh yeah, easily. There's so many changes going on right now.
Yeah, for all those people who are complaining that there were no changes, here's your changes, buddy.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, and we can briefly talk about Abathur getting a slight buff to Symbiote. The Stab and Spike Burst are getting changes. It looked like on the Heroes Nexus stuff there was a lot of other stuff changing on Abathur, but they're not in the Blizzard notes, so I don't know if that's necessarily coming or not.
Well, and yeah, there's stuff not here on this that are in the Blizzard notes, like Illidan's damage his basic damage is getting increased.
Yeah, that's nice, but I don't know. I don't know if that really helps him out that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with the way it scales, it could at certain levels. I mean, it's hard to just tell that from just reading that, you know. Because I'm glad they take small approaches like that, because a 4% increase on 4 extra damage throughout the game it could make differences at certain levels. He could suddenly become a nightmare to deal with at 9 for some reason. You never know. So yeah, I mean there's quite a bit here, guys. I mean it's gonna be interesting to see what stays and what goes. I do just glancing at this, it seems like they're trying to take a real hardline stance on buffing the talents that are not picked, the heroic talents that are not picked as much. Because there are certain heroes who just have a heroic that gets less than a 1% or 10% pick rate, Zagara comes to mind. Even like Malfurion. So. Yeah,
Malfurion's basically, from what I saw, was just getting a buff to innervate. It's crazy. I feel like he was in a good place before the patch last week, and now he's getting even more buffs to him. Like his Q got buffed last week, and this patch is going to buff his innervate. It's like, wow, he's becoming like the premier healer. I feel like,
Yeah.
potentially.
Oh no, he's gonna have to withstand that charge from Rhaegar.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. Yeah, we won't be able to go through all of Rhaegar's changes, but Rhaegar is getting significantly changed, and it almost looks like he could do some serious damage as well.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Gaslow too. I mean, from what they're saying about Gaslow, he's going to be doing a lot more damage. A lot of significant changes. They're fixing a lot of the things on Butcher's Lambda Slaughter, where you could kind of cheese your way out of the effect of it, and now it sounds like if you're hit by lambs at the slaughter, you aren't getting out of it.
Yeah.
Or lamb to the slaughter.
You can't channel out of that anymore.
No. It looks like invulnerability and unstoppable. Well, you might be able to channel out of it because it's addressing invulnerability, unstoppable, and stasis effects. Enemy heroes affected by Lamb to the Slaughter can no longer enter the Dragon Knight, Garden Terror, or Lieutenant Morales' medevac, and Tyrael can no longer cast Judgment out of him.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know he could judgment out of that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're fixing that.
Can't put the chains on Tyrael. Looks like Tychus is going to get a range indicator on Overkill, which is pretty nice, because you were never really sure where that range was. You could kind of feel it out, but it's nice to have a visual confirmation of where it's at for positioning. So I think just something little like that could be a big deal for someone like Tychus.
Okay. To sidetrack just for a minute, one of the people in chat, Claudia Yacera, I have probably butchered that, just linked from a tweet from a Blizzard note that says there's apparently going to be a new balance update for the live version of the game as early as tomorrow, January 27th. So that's exciting. So they're sticking to the Wednesday.
Yeah, they said it might not come every week, but in the comment section of those balance changes, which we haven't even got to yet, Spirian said, like, we realized that this goes back to that Reddit post we had a little while ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago now, where somebody said, "Hey, we need this game treated a little differently. All you can do is PvP in it. When stuff stays broke for this long, it makes it unfun to play." And apparently that must have been on a lot of people's mind, because to see them suddenly implement that, like, okay, every Wednesday we're going to tweak, and it might not be every Wednesday, but if it happens, expect it to be Wednesday and expect them to be much more often. And 2 weeks in a row, that's pretty often.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm very happy that they're going to be a little bit more aggressive on this, and something like Heroes kind of does require aggressive changes like this, so I'm excited to see them. I mean, did we want to talk about... I mean, we're talking about so many changes now. Do we want to talk about last week's changes, which are currently in live?
Yeah, we can hit those real quick. Me and Zexorus did a show on Wednesday, which I guess we'll try to do most Wednesdays now, which is just a quick discussion before West March Workshop, another wonderful Blizz Pro show, where we talk about those balance changes that are supposed to take place every Wednesday. Zex, why don't you walk them through it a bit?
Let me catch up here real quick. All right, here we go. Balance. Sorry, I'm a little behind now.
No worries.
With the balance changes, we've been over that, and everyone's experienced the beauty of cleanse now, going back to its old form, which was great, and we all love it. And the preemptive, just the unstoppable talent is great. We don't know why they changed it.
I do want to make a really quick note. I was playing earlier today, and I played Uther, and I took cleanse, and I didn't realize it doesn't work on yourself now. It only works because it's worded target ally now becomes unstoppable for 1 second. So you can't target yourself. You can't get yourself out of trouble now. But unstoppable is totally worth taking, even if you can't put it on yourself.
Right. Well, I guess that's fair. can't really argue about that. But going down the list real quick, Lunara received a significant health buff to her health increase, which will scale, giving her a little bit more survivability, and her health regen, and a buff to her trait from 32 plus 4 plus now to 34 plus 5% per level. Raynor has now been dropped to the lowest health pool assassin in the game, going from 1371 to 1302. So that's a significant slap in the face to Ray Ray.
I've noticed the changes a little bit too throughout the week. I mean, it feels like you have to play him much safer in the early game.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you still have 2 health bars, but like they're not as big health bars, and you can get blown up real quick in a hurry if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, I feel like you almost have to play him now like Vala, but without Volt. So it's a little interesting, that dynamic, because their health pools are comparable, except he gets a refill on his health once every 60 seconds or so, and or 45 or whatever it is, and Vala has that Volt for that movement escape. So, but the same thing's true for both of them. If you're caught out of position by 2 or 3 people, you're probably dead now.
Yeah, and then moving on, we've got Brightwing. Her what was that? Arcane Precision talent's been removed and has just kind of been absorbed into Brightwing.
Yeah, it's just part of our queue now. We're basically more damage to the inner area. The cooldown and the mana cost reduction was huge. Wave clear is already better with Brightwing now.
Yeah. They already started. This is the start of the changes to Malfurion. They've changed his regrowth from 134. It now does 150 health, and increased the health per tick from 67 to 75. Tranquility, however, received a slight nerf, going from 46 to 40 health per tick. And basically, the developers felt like people were just relying way too much on Tranquility. It was a really powerful skill to use in team fights. I still don't think anybody's taking Twilight Dream.
Yeah, not anytime soon.
Yeah, unless it's a double healer comp, I never see it.
Yeah. Tyrande got the most changes this current patch. From basic attack damage going down from 92 to 87, True Shot aura now only affecting allied heroes instead of literally everything around her.
Yeah.
Hunter's Mark received a nerf as well from the cooldown reduction going down from 8 to 6 seconds. So it's not going to be up as long. Not that big of a deal, I think. It's still a really OP talent, I think. Huntress Fury, another talent, attack speed bonus duration gets increased from 4 to 5 seconds, trying to encourage players to just kind of steer away from all the healing she does. Light of a Loon, the initial heal amount increased from 310 to 320, and they nerfed her Overflowing Light talent, reducing the healing from 35 down to 30%. Once again, pick something different on her. We're begging you.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go into HOTS logs for the last 7 days and filter just quick match and anybody playing these heroes that has at least a hero account level 5 or greater, she's fallen a full where I just saw it. Oh, I'm sorry, I had it just a second ago. She's basically fallen a full 4.6%, which brought her down to the 51.7% range, right in the wheelhouse they're searching for. Brightwing has shot up 7.6%. He's now higher than her at a 52% win rate. Lunara shot up 7.7% at a 47% win rate. So obviously these were targeted changes that had... Oh, Malfurion shot up 3.8%, now at a 50% win rate. These were targeted changes that had the intended effect so far. Raynor dropped 3.1%. He's still at a robust 53, but he's more in line where he should be now. Just small changes to his health. So If they can continue to do stuff like this every Wednesday and bring these heroes in line, right now it looks like Abathur and Tassadar need a little love, and maybe Thrall and Diablo and Murky all need to be looked at a little bit.
Hey, why don't you look at Chen's win rate?
Stay away from Thrall, please. I love Thrall.
Chen's win rate is sitting at 49.7%. He's pretty much right where they want him to be. He's a lower percentage picked hero, but the people who do pick him, like yourself, Zex, tend to put a lot of love and effort into him. And the fact, I mean, you need heroes like that where they're not seen as much, so they're a bigger pain to deal with. You're not ready for him. And on certain teams where he's played not as a tank, but as your primary dive source, finish things off, clean fights up, reposition people, bait people. He's amazing at that. So
Sure.
it's one of those things where you won't see pro teams built around it, but you can easily run comps around him in quick match. So that's why he's where he's at in these quick match filters.
And a quick note, continuing on with Tehran, a note, they nerfed stuns across the board. Rainer's penetrating round, for an example, went down from 1.5 seconds to a second. Lunara's Lunar Flare has been decreased from a 1 second stun to a 3/4 second stun. So, and they decreased the range bonus on Lunar Blaze, which you're still going to take that anyways, because that's still a huge range to chuck them arrows from.
And you're seeing that trickle out to heroes who don't have a great way of dealing with stuns and rely on positioning to do well. Tychus saw a slight increase in win percentage. Illidan saw a slight increase in win percentage. Arthas saw a slight win rate percentage increase. Same thing with Greymane. All these heroes have one thing in common: they have no real way to deal with stuns. And if somebody catches them, they're probably dead or at least severely hurt. And so that. Another great change, I think, because stun comps were just really running rampant.
Yeah, but really, that's those. Like they changed your shadow stock, increased the cooldown from 50 to 60, decreased the health per tick by a minor amount. The final burst heals down by 5 from 100 to 95, and the movement speed bonus is down 10% from 40 to 30. They made some changes to Starfall, but really Shadowstock's the one you're still going to be picking, just because it's too good. But moving on, they made some changes to our favorite warrior, Stitches, and weirdly enough, I've seen him being played in the pro scene now because of these. It's the only thing I can think of. The basic attack damage has been increased from 74 to 85. And his slam has been increased from 80 damage to 96. And I'm really at a loss. Like, he instantly came back into the meta with these changes. Like, I have been watching him. Like, Kaldor was casting today for Enter the Storm.
Yeah, probably Enter the Storm, yeah.
And almost every single game, Stitches was getting picked. He's getting pick or banned, and it boggles me.
Yeah, I mean, Hook is still Hook, and when he's received enough tweaks over the past few patches to just give him some base damage increase and make him more relevant when he does get in your face, that's a pretty big deal. And even Quick Match saw an increase in his win percentage. So
that's what's going to make this whole quicker balance changes interesting, though, is the pro scene is going to have some fun reacting to all these changes and how quick they're coming out. I mean, Stitches, those are some serious numbers that he's getting back from his damage. So it'll be interesting to see. I think I've played like one game with Stitches so far since his change. But yeah, he definitely feels a little bit more aggressive in that way.
Yeah, and that makes, from a spectator standpoint, that makes it a lot funner to watch, because it's or a lot more fun. It's one of those things where you get tired of seeing the same stuff. Like what you was it Enter the Storm, or what did you cast recently, DJ?
Heroes Rising.
Heroes Rising. That's right. I'm sorry. The second ban pick 40 times was Tehran. You've got a problem with your game when everybody's banned. Every pro has decided unilaterally that, okay, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
what we ban this broke hero.
I mean, Dustin Browder was in the audience there, so I mean, he was seeing it right in front of his face there, happening in front of him. So I think, I'm sure there was already changes in like internally thought of for Taronde, but maybe that pushed up these changes a little faster. But who knows? We'll never know like the details of that. But I'm just happy that the changes are here.
Definitely. I mean, it's already been. I've had more fun playing this game in the past week than I have in the past 2 months. So.
It's been good. But yeah, speaking of Dustin Browder, he actually reemerged on Twitter today to talk about a couple things. We'll link these in the show notes, but he did talk about. Let's see. Someone asked someone asked a while ago. You said that win-loss points in Hero League would be adjusted on performance. Is this still coming? Response was matchmaking team still wants to do this. I don't know when they will get to it. So that's something that's probably very far off. Probably late this year, if at all this year. But it is on their radar. I mean, they have so much to do right now, and I think the big one that people are asking about was asked once again recently, and Dustin Browder responded to it today. When does season 1 start? This person, they wrote it very challengingly. They're trying really hard to improve their MMR and have fun in Hero League, but it's currently very difficult. Dustin Browder responded, rolling this season, Grandmaster League and bans are top of our priority list. We are not weeks away, months. So, I mean, it's definitely frustrating that it's months away and not coming soon as far as the Grandmaster League is concerned. And I think bans are coming sooner than this. It sounds like the season is the thing that's delayed here, but I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on all this? I know this has kind of been a pain point for Heroes since launch. What do you guys feel about this, Charlie?
I'm okay with it for right now. If they're going to be doing balance changes like they're doing on Wednesdays and doing these rapid hero releases and hitting us with all this content all of a sudden, like, I felt like for the longest time it's like, what do we talk about? Nothing's really going on, huh? Yeah, okay. Some tournament got announced. Let's talk about that. Now there's too much to talk about. There's so many changes happening, and it feels like they're just going to keep pushing them at us, which will keep the game fresh and interesting. So I can hold off on stuff like that I want, but it's not like need it because I'm not used to having it. So I can hold off on that if they're going to keep changing the game and trying to improve it, just day-to-day gameplay.
Yeah, don't read any of the responses to Dustin Browder. Anyways, it's pretty bad. I started reading them, and now I feel bad.
Oh yeah, it can be a. It can be
Why did you touch the poop, Jimmy?
I went into the poop pile.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? You should know better.
The good thing about Blizzard is it seems like they read, like, guys like Browder and a lot of the people in the development staff, it seems like no matter if it's negative or whatever, they do at least read what's going on in the community. And it's probably, a lot of it is eye-rolling garbage, but they do find people who have genuine frustrations and read between the lines of people having, like, nonsensical frustrations and try to fix that, because one idiot can ruin an entire village. So
yeah, I mean, this was something we actually talked to the community at large that was invited to a dinner with Blizzard at the Vegas event last year. I had the pleasure of sitting next to Dustin Browder for this dinner, so I mean, I heard him talk extensively about being more visible on Twitter, and he truly, like, unless you've talked to him or really seen like an interview with him being really passionate about the game, it's hard to understand that he is super passionate about the game, and any of these complaints, he understands where the player is coming from and truly sympathizes with you and is trying to make this the best game possible. So I mean, I know the intent is there. Hopefully he'll get the resources to get some of this stuff up to speed here. So we'll see. I'm very trusting of Blizzard, but I'm a Blizzard fanboy. I mean, I write for BlizzPro. I do these Blizzard shows, so I definitely have a bit more faith in Blizzard than maybe most people, but I'm just glad that he is always, week in and week out, we can count on him updating people on where we are and answering people's questions.
I think we need like a siren sound effect every time you subtly work in your Blizzard celebrity status, Jimmy. Like something that just kind of goes
Flax
off.
on.
Yeah, anything. Yeah. No, but
Humble brag.
yeah, a nice humble brag draw. Anything. No, but yeah, it's encouraging. It really is. The way that they handle the community has always been in a way that makes you feel like you're being heard, and that's all you want when you're gaming, especially online competitive gaming where you're giving your dollars to one specific company. You don't want to feel like things that are wrong or things that you are perceived to be wrong are falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And that's what social media is great for. They do seem to pay attention to it and interact with their fans, ranging from completely valid, normal comments and responses to the bottoms of the internet.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it without saying mean things, so that's what I'll do. Willie, anything?
You summed it up nicely. I said don't touch the poop. You were a lot more eloquent than what I was.
Yeah, in general, though, yeah, don't touch the poop. We got the one last thing here, if you want to hit that real quick, just for what's hot on Reddit.
I actually really like this. We talk about this website all the time, Hotslogs. If you're not using it, it's a pretty good tool for kind of figuring out your strengths and weaknesses in the game. You upload your replays, and it parses those replays and gives you stats on breakdown by hero, map, talent builds. I mean, everything kind of gets broken down there. But anyways,
it's a great tool for people who want to use it properly.
Yeah, exactly. So there are people who use it improperly.
Exactly.
And this change he just implemented, I forget the guy's name, I'm so sorry.
Ben,
but
Barrett
Ben?
777.
Okay.
Yeah. Ben from Hotslog, Barrett 777.
But anyways, Blizzard implemented a few months ago a silencing penalty for if you're toxic in game or get reported a bunch. If you are silenced, you actually lose the ability to look up profiles on Hotslog.
Yeah, you will be temporarily removed from the leaderboard and other parts of the site, and that penalty is going to last the duration of the silence penalty plus an additional 7 days. And they said that he did this for two reasons. First, he believes toxicity in Heroes of the Storm is a big problem for growth of the community, and growing our community would be the easiest way to fix matchmaking problems. Trash talking scares new players away, and it can really take the fun away for existing players. Personally, he rarely does solo queues anymore. When I do, most of the time I have to disable his allied chat because I just don't want to deal with the rude comments that happen in far too many games. I'll say that's a little overstated. I think it happens, but not as often as this makes it sound. I feel like a lot more often than not I actually get good players. I don't feel like I have to report as much as like with other games that shall remain nameless.
Yeah, I haven't really had to, but I think it's a little more prolific in the higher ranks. From what I've talked to other players about.
I haven't played much Hero League in a while, so that could be true. People come in with the expectations in Hero League, like you better be.
And if it's happening in Team League to you, get some better friends.
Yeah. Well, make sure you either have one friend or 4 other friends, because if you have 2 or 3 friends, you can't play Hero League.
Yeah.
That poor Kerrigan.
He said, secondly, he feels partially responsible. Every so often I get an email from a player asking me to remove their profile from Hotslogs. 90% of the time they are asking this because one of their random teammates was looking their Hotslogs profile in-game and using it to bash them. Of course, this only cares for people who care about their Hotslogs profile, but I'm hoping will get some people thinking twice before they're saying rude things. This drew a lot of comments. Some people in disagreement with these changes, other people in agreement with these changes. As always, a big source of discussion on Reddit, and you can go check that out. I'm sure we'll link that in the chat or the show notes or something, but it was definitely an interesting thread, and it's nice to see that somebody who is in charge of a community tool that's kind of unofficially the stat site for Heroes of the Storm, like everyone knows about it, but it's not really acknowledged in Blizzard or anything. It's not like you can click on a link and go to Hotslogs through a Blizzard page, but everybody who plays knows about Hotslogs probably. So it's nice to see that the creator of this site has taken responsibility for, well, not the creator, but someone who's, part of the site has taken responsibility for some of the negative things that have come out of it, and is working to address those things. I'm really encouraged to hear that, and it makes me respect that site all the more.
I'm against the silencing. Do they need to be punished in some way? Yes, but I don't know. Maybe giving them a badge on their account, like a dunce cap or something.
That could be something.
That's more public shaming, and that usually gets the message across stronger than just silencing somebody for a week plus X amount of time.
Well, remember, the silencing gets worse the more it happens to you.
That's true, but still, it's not really it still wouldn't deter me. If I wanted to be, if I were in a mood and I didn't really give a crap, oh no, I can't check other people's MMR for a week or however long. It's not the best deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
But if no, I am talking more. Flames raising a point. They do get a little logo that shows up in game.
Yeah.
To let them know the sign. But I'm talking on Hotslogs, like a record keeping. Like every time you get silence, you get a badge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just to show the level, toxicity level. Like I've been silenced 5 times.
You get a toxic barrel.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like I think that would be more effective than just cutting them off from the majority of the site for a while.
You should post that in a thread.
You know what? I should. I think I will.
Because I do think that's actually a pretty good idea. Making it's a great way for tracking stats, and a stat in the game is how often you are a jerk to other people and you've been penalized by Blizzard because of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that could be something helpful. Another wonderful tool provided by Hotslogs via Zexorus's brain.
There you go.
So it's a weird, winding path, but sometimes it leads down to some great ideas.
Oh, I love you guys. Oh, man.
Sometimes I don't even know how I get there. I look up and I'm like, oh, all right. That made sense, I guess. I don't know my thought process, but it worked.
Oh, yeah.
You got us there, buddy.
Yep.
We just took the scenic route.
There we go. Anyways, we should probably wrap this up. Let Charlie get better. You poor guy. Get better, man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like you being sick.
I'm not dying or anything, just, not feeling the greatest either. Sleep and water helps the best.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, like always, we will be playing a game portion after this, so if you want to join, feel free to join /BlizzPro in Heroes of the Storm. Let us know in there, and we'll grab people. Patreons, of course, have first priority. Patreon.com/Heroes Powerhour. That is where you can help us out and donate and help reduce our costs for running the show, because it's not free. There's computers to be bought, computer hardware, microphones, bandwidth, etc., etc. $1 gets you a badge in our Discord channel and also gets you on our friends list. So, I mean, you don't have to pay to get on our friends list. It's not what it's for. It's just to help guarantee your spot on these game portions on Tuesday nights. And a lot of our patrons have just ended up becoming our friends. Like Zexorus started out as a patron. Yes. And now look at him. He's hosting the show. So yeah, that's going to be it for the game portion. So get ready for that, and make sure you're checking out heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. Great articles all throughout the week. You can get your news on the free hero rotations, sales, stuff like that. And
I wrote a
Beer.
build.
And yeah, what did you do this? What build did you do this week?
I did the Lunara build, Poison Deer.
Nice.
Although I decided I like Doe of Despair better, but I don't know. I should have went Doe of Despair. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't.
You can go back and edit
Yeah. I feel like I missed my chance, though. That's almost cheating.
Oh, well.
Maybe I'll have the Doe of Despair build in the future.
Yeah, you'll have to have a follow-up build. But anyways...
sorry. You're going to talk about Ale? Because I did want to jump in on Ale's article.
Yeah, Alebeard does articles. What was his article this week? I can't remember. I'm sorry about that. Refresh my memory.
Greymane's win rate, and Stinkser does it. And he talked about the way that people were improperly using HOTS logs and delved deeper into the stats. And it was very illuminating for me because I was one of those people that was guilty of this. And knowing how to properly use a tool like HOTS logs, I feel like I'm learning more and I'm getting more out of the information I'm reading into. So kudos to Ale. As always, he is just one of the great minds on our website who always finds a way to keep veteran and new players thoroughly informed.
Yeah, I mean, search through all his articles. He's had months worth of articles just about basic stuff to the stuff like you're talking about with Greymane and how to use HOTS logs correctly in analyzing win rates and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that might be it. Any closing thoughts, Zex?
I can't wait till mailing drops. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, Balrog fan, any closing thoughts besides getting better?
The Necromancer. I'm really excited. I've been excited. I hope when he arrives he doesn't disappoint. And yeah, I'm happy. I feel like a lot better about this game lately. I'm enthusiastic that they're making such an effort to keep the community engaged and make so many one-it changes and keep the game fresh and interesting because it's easy to get lazy and fall into the trap of doing like a patch every month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's not the approach to take with this game. So I'm glad they're going down a different road. I really am.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Before we close out, I want to remind you all of our other Blizz Pro shows. We have this show on Tuesday nights, Heroes of the Storm Power Hour, and we do have tomorrow night on Wednesday nights, every Wednesday night, the West March workshop about Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is in their 5th season, and lots of really great stuff coming out of that show. Really great guys running that show, Leviathan and Nineball. And Thursday nights is another show that I'm on, Payload Podcast. It's about Overwatch. We're going to be going over another role this week, the defense role. And then Sunday nights, the Well Met Show. It's our Hearthstone podcast. So make sure you're checking all those out and supporting all the great people at BlizzPro.com. I think that's going to be it for us. We'll see you in the Nexus. All right.